Provincetown, Massachusetts. If I ever went there and I visited in that town, I would have to park the car. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. The Iranian people should be the ones to ultimately overthrow the Islamic regime, not the United States. So those words are coming from a prominent evangelical leader, Dr. Mike Evans. He argues in a Jerusalem Post op-ed that America should create the conditions for change by weakening and isolating Tehran while avoiding another ground war. So basically what he's saying is that the president should pull U.S. forces away from vulnerable positions while maintaining economic pressure, intelligence, cyber operations, and precision military capabilities. Evans says the goal is to give the Persian people the time and space to determine their own future. Well, let's bring in someone that knows all about that. That would be Ali Savavi, who is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee there for the National Council of Resistance of Iran. Ali, thanks for being here. I understand you're in Paris, so enjoy the baguettes. And I guess my question is, do you agree? Do you agree with what Dr. Evans is saying? What do the Persian people need right now?
Well, first of all, good morning to all of you, and great to be on your show. Well, basically, that has been the position of the Iranian resistance from day one, that the ultimate solution to the Iranian crisis is not either engagement nor is it a military intervention, that it is the Iranian people who are the actors for change, plus the organized resistance. And to the extent that the Iranian regime is denied the resources with which it has not only suppressed the Iranian people, but also financed and trained its proxies across the region, engaged in a mad dash toward nuclear weapons, and of course its ballistic missile program has now become not just a regional threat, but an international threat, that the Iranian people are quite capable and willing to bring about that change. And don't take my word for it, there have been 4 major uprisings in Iran since 2017, the latest of which was in January 2026. When you augment that with a robust nationwide resistance movement inside Iran, then you have basically all the elements needed to bring about change. What has been missing in all these years, I guess the missing link in international policy, has been the recognition of that resistance and the recognition of the Iranian people's desire to topple the mullahs.
David mentioned at the outset that you're in Paris. Are you there under the auspices of the Iranian resistance? Are you working with your fellow resistance leaders there?
Well, of course, I'm a member of the NCRI, which is the longest lasting coalition, Iranian opposition coalition, democratic one that brings together under one umbrella a variety of Iranian opposition groups from the left to the right to the center. It represents the Iranian ethnic and religious minorities, and it has a platform, a 10-point plan, which its president-elect, Mrs. Maryam Rajabi, has articulated, which basically underscores 1, freedom of expression, 2, freedom of assembly, an abolition of the death penalty, end of torture, end to Sharia law, a non-nuclear Iran, peaceful coexistence with the rest of Iran neighbors, and of course autonomy for Iranian national minorities and equal rights for all citizens, as well as gender equality. And of course the NCRI over the years has garnered tremendous support, not only here in Europe, about 4,000 parliamentarians from 50 countries, but also in the United States, where majorities in the House of Representatives and a sizable number of US senators from both sides of the aisle have over many years have said this is where we should invest in the Iranian organized opposition and basically give it the political recognition that it needs to carry out its noble task of toppling the mullahs of Iran.
So I'm sorry, just to follow up, I'm not so sure I got a clear answer. So are you in Paris for that, pushing that agenda and working with other opposition leaders? Is that why you're in Paris? I'm curious.
Well, of course, Paris is the headquarters of the NCRI.
Okay.
And
okay.
I work along with other colleagues at the Foreign Affairs Committee, basically pushing the international agenda of the Iranian resistance. Basically, what we are trying to achieve and accomplish is to let the world know that contrary to what some pundits may say, including some in Washington, that the mullah's regime has emerged out of this war stronger, that is absolutely not the case. The mullahs are much, much weaker, more vulnerable, not only because they sustained substantial damage, some $300 billion, as they have acknowledged, but also their top leadership is gone. And naturally, you have a restive society. Just in the Iranian year 1405, which is from March 2025 to March 2026, there have been 4,229 forms of protest by various sectors of Iranian society. That's 352 protests a month. So this gives to show you that despite the image that the mullahs are trying to portray, that everything is all in control, they are stable and they are powerful, that Iranian society today is a powder keg. And all it needs is a spark. And of course, the Iranian resistance, its resistance units inside Iran are working day and night to try to create a situation where that uprising will come about, just like we saw in January of this year.
Also, we have Iran facing deepening economic pressure, inflation, fuel shortages, mounting government debt, all of that straining the country. Your group is reporting the government and state oil company owe Iran's National Development Fund a combined $127 billion. Meanwhile, gasoline demand outpacing refinery production, leaving Tehran facing tough choices over fuel prices and subsidies. How are these issues impacting the real people on the ground in Iran?
Well, I think it has had a very, very serious impact on the livelihood of Iranians. Just to give you an example, we recently concluded a detailed report on the state of Iranian economy. While the wages, the minimum wage, has risen by 60%, the fact is that inflation is around 127%.
Sure.
The minimum wage that each family of four receives suffices only for 19 days of the month. Of the 66 million Iranians who are basically within the labor force, only 44 million can have access to jobs. That means 22 million Iranians have no employment whatsoever. So you can clearly see that the economic situation is very dire, and of course the revenues that the regime gains from its international trade, from the sale of oil, is not allocated to address the problems that the Iranian people have, the shortages, but to buy food, bread, other means of subsistence, but it is invested in their military, their missile program, their nuclear program, and of course providing support to their proxies. You know, the price of bread, which is the most basic staple for Iranian people, has risen by 97%. And of course there's talk of hiking the price of gasoline, but they're afraid because they remember 2019 when the tripling of gas prices led to a nationwide uprising, which they were only able to control by slaughtering 1,500 Iranians who came to the streets and protested. So yes, the economic situation in Iran is very dire, but of course that in and of itself will not bring a regime collapse. You need a proactive, organized opposition that could mobilize the Iranian society, that would mobilize these disaffected sectors of society to morph into one major nationwide uprising that could bring about the change that everybody is looking for and hoping for.
Ali Savavi, thank you so much for being here. Great information.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, we are back in a moment. First, though, Real America's Music has a new release. It actually is today. This song is by High Res and Jordan Meyer. It's called Faith, Family, and Freedom. We've been talking about this. Now, the title says it all. It's a song really about putting God first and appreciating the freedom we have. The song released today. The lyric video for the song is going to drop right after the show today on Rav's YouTube page. So scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen and download the song. Help drive it to #1. Here's a preview.
From Real America's Music, Faith, Family, Freedom by High Res and Jordan Meyer. This isn't just another song. It's a reminder of where we've been, what we believe, and what we're fighting to preserve for the next generation. Whether you're on the open road, at a backyard barbecue, or simply proud to call America home, this is the soundtrack for those who still believe our best days are ahead. Scan the QR code on your screen to download the song today.
God first, that's the motto, that's the fire in my chest. I was carrying that pressure, now I put it down to rest. When the world feel like it's falling, he be put into the test. But he turning all my valleys to a mountaintop of blessed. I could feel his presence when I look up to the skies. No more believing the devil's lies. I got faith.